The Learning Counsel is here today with Beatriz Arnillas of Houston ISD to talk about their PowerUp initiative and how they are improving their ROI, or return on instruction. She'll also give us a glimpse of their hub, the itslearning system they use to manage all their hundreds, if not thousands, of digital objects and personalize the learning for every student. Beatriz.
Thank you. PowerUp is a district-wide initiative that the goal of PowerUp is to provide all of our students at the high school level, initially at the high school level, with a 21st century teaching and learning environment and experience, and also to enhance our students' ability to be college and career ready at the end of their high school years. In its initial phase, PowerUp encompassed distributing one-to-one laptops to all the high school students. But this phase was done in 3 years because we have so many schools. And so we're going to focus our talk on the cohort one. Cohort one of PowerUp started on the academic year 2013-2014. And we're going to talk a little bit about what was the initial implementation and the goals of that initial implementation, and then what were the goals for year 2, 3, and how we plan to mature the teaching and learning environment in our schools. We started PowerUp in 11 high schools, and every teacher and every student received a laptop computer. Teachers received their laptop computers in August, and throughout the entire fall semester, the professional development focused on teaching teachers how to manage the device in a responsible way, how to take care of the device, but also we introduced them to instructional software and instructional applications that they could use in the classroom to enhance student levels of activity and to focus more on learner-centered instruction. After 5 months, in January, the students received their laptops. By then, teachers had also been exposed to digital literacy concepts, and the teachers themselves developed curriculum about digital literacy for students. So every student was given a lesson on how to be safe online and how to utilize technology effectively for teaching and learning. So it sounds like a lot of that first initiative was focused on the device, but the truth of the matter is that teachers really needed to learn how to manage their classroom environment with technology in it and making sure that students were in task and helping students be more autonomous and control themselves and manage their time in a wise way, etc. And getting everybody familiar with the computer and all the technology that was available to them. So the students really had their devices for about 5 months on year 1, and then on year 2, everybody received their devices at the beginning of the school year. And so the results we're showing here today are at the end of year 2, the 11 high schools that were part of our cohort 1 of PowerUp. To be sure, on the first year, our goal was to get everybody familiar and comfortable with the technology, and we wanted to focus on the campus climate, the leadership focus, making sure all the principals were in alignment, that they were sharing with teachers their excitement and enthusiasm for this great opportunity. And also, we were aware that this was going to be sort of a maturation process, that initially the technology would be used in a shallow, so to speak, way. And our focus was on enthusiasm and engagement, and that slowly, year after year, the teachers and the students both would mature in their understanding of what you can really do with technology to enhance and maybe even transform teaching and learning. On the beginning of year 2, we introduced a digital teaching and learning platform. In this case, the platform we introduced is called itslearning, and Houston ISD calls it the hub for teaching and learning. And in essence, it's a platform that has a digital learning object repository, a learning management system, and a curriculum management system all put together. So students and teachers access their content, communicate, collaborate, submit assignments, and the teachers can deliver quizzes that are aligned to standards. Today, every single high school student in Houston ISD is provided with a laptop for their teaching and learning opportunities and needs. And along with the laptop, they receive access to this digital teaching and learning platform, which contains digital resources from more than 25 different publishers. They're all inside our learning object repository, and they are searchable by keywords and learning standards. And so a student or a teacher can go to the library online, put a keyword, and then cross-reference the keyword with a standard, and then they receive a number of results, just like what you would do in Google. But in this case, all the results that come up to you are highly curated materials that the district has adopted for digital content, and that is meta tagged to learning standards, which was the key for us, right? And so it provides a flexible environment if you think about it, because if you get 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 different resources from different publishers for one topic, then students have an opportunity to say, well, I'm going to look at this video, or I'm going to read this article, or this is how I'm going to learn this particular standard. In addition, the assessments can also be linked to standards. So a teacher can prepare an assessment, and each question can be linked to a specific student expectation in the TEKS. And at the end of when the students have taken the assessment, teachers can do a report, and they can see how many of their students have mastered to a certain percentage each learning objective. And those who haven't mastered it yet are provided with an automated list of, here's some other materials we have in our library that you can use for to complete your understanding of this standard. So the focus is not on fail or pass or fail. The focus is on progress. And at the end of a lesson, it's not like you failed this lesson. It's you're not there yet, but here are some materials that you can continue to use, so it supports mastery-based instruction.
So let me ask you, so that point, that's the analytics tool within the hub, within the It's Learning Hub.
That's correct. So the analytics that you can perform inside our digital teaching and learning platform is all for instructional purposes. You can see who has mastered what standards, who hasn't, and then teachers and students can together, each student separately with the teacher can look at the list that the library has produced for them, and they can decide, I'm going to use this one and this one and this one to continue learning until I master this particular standard. So it's all data to inform learning, which is very different from summative data, right? So I'm looking at slide 2, and there's a list of schools on the left. There are the cohort 1. And if you look at the schools on the left, what it shows is the grades for 2014 for Algebra 1 and 2015. And it compares 2014 to 2015 for all students, and then just for African American students, and then for Hispanic students, white students, English language learner students, and then economically disadvantaged students. So we have all students, African American, Hispanic, Caucasian, English language learners, and economically disadvantaged. And what the data says is, on average, the minority and the economically disadvantaged students improved after a year and a half of having devices in their end of course exam for Algebra 1 and English 1. And this is very general, but it clearly is a trend, right? And I would hesitate to say that Caucasian students did not benefit because our sample of Caucasian students wasn't high enough. In other words, we did not have enough Caucasian students in these group of schools to really kind of draw a conclusion from that. But if anything else, what this says to us is that technology is a great equalizer, and that was one of our goals. Frequently, the middle-class kids have access to technology at home, but the minority students and the low-income students do not. And so it would make sense that having access to a device that has a lot of very valuable and effective learning materials in it available 24/7 would empower students that are economically disadvantaged, or students that in general maybe their parents had not had access to complete education or even higher education in the past, right?
Now, could I ask you something about how they're handling these devices that have all the software and the itslearning platform on it and so forth? Are they putting those devices into a cabinet at the end of the day, or do they take them home with them? And these are their textbooks per se. These are now going with them home. They're doing their homework on it, bringing it back.
That's correct. Actually, what we wanted to do for sure was to make sure that the students could take them home. The literature says that the difference between the programs where students can and cannot take the device home is huge. The point is to empower the learner, to help the learner become an autonomous, lifelong learner. And in order to do that, it was very important to give them this technology that is not, again, is not consumer technology. It's not a cell phone. It's not a tablet. It's a laptop device. And have them be able to take it home and use it anytime and from anywhere. Here's what's really interesting to us, and here's the lessons learned, really, because we did qualitative and quantitative research. So we had the University of San Diego doing qualitative and quantitative research, but we also are gathering and, of course, exam data and thinking about all the things, all the ways in which we put this program together and what we've heard that really worked for the schools and the teachers and the students. So number one is anytime, anywhere. 24/7 learning, access to the device and the technology wherever they are, anytime, right? And so these are positive correlations that we think were the strengths, the backbone of our program. The second one was the importance of central office strategic leadership and alignment. This program was from day one governed by the chief school support officer, the chief technology officer, and the chief academic officer. No decision was done without one of those departments present. And for 2 years, the first 2 years, there were members of these three divisions meeting once a week for an hour and making all the decisions together. So we have the professional development department, the leadership department, the instructional tech, curriculum department, IT infrastructure, et cetera, and communications department meeting once a week for 2 years for an hour and making all the strategic decisions together. And in addition, we also went and met with principals at least 3 to 4 times a year just to double check with them. These are the decisions we're making. What do you think? Is this going to work? Because of course the principals are the ones that really understand their populations. And believe me, each school is a universe and it's a completely different culture from the other schools. And so one of the key pillars in this program was campus leadership. We were fortunate to work with Mooresville, the Mooresville Graded School District from the beginning of the program. And one of the things they really insisted on from day one was the importance of the principal and school leadership. That if the principal does not believe in their heart that this is going to make a significant and transformational change in their schools, the program will not work. It has to come. In other words, the program had to be all the way from the top, but also all the way from the bottom and meet in the middle. Because the principal establishes priorities and focus for teachers and is the one that decides what kind of supports the teachers are going to get, but also the principal is the one that establishes and determines the campus climate. And so the last one is, as a result of that strategic and leadership alignment, of course, cross-departmental collaboration. We think all these things are conditions that are required for success.
Can I ask you this too, because you sort of touched on these things, is student choice, you sort of touched on it, but it sounds like what this is creating is a different kind of culture in the classroom where you have this platform, kids can go into it, but they can learn in so many ways. They get to do it the way they feel it's going to be best for them.
We knew that on year one, we were just dipping our toes in the water in the sense that we were creating an excitement and expectations of what was to come. But in the end, like any good educator, you understand that your learners are going to have to build that world that is the learner-centered environment, according to the concepts and the belief system that they have. And so really the focus is empowering the learner, providing the learner with choices.
Fantastic. Okay, good. So now we've gotten through the slides. Is there any kind of summary what viewers want to walk away with from this information?
This is a preliminary result. We are, I think, as a country in the beginning stages of transforming teaching and learning using technology in a way that helps and supports our students be prepared for college and career. We are also struggling to level education. So no matter what background or conditions you have as you grow up, that all our students have opportunities for excellent education, careers, and college opportunities. I think this just shows that the technology, even though we always say that technology is not the goal, everybody agrees that the technology is a tool that truly enables us to scale up personalizing learning and focusing on mastery-based learning and closing the gaps. But besides from the fact that the focus should be making sure all our students are doing math and reading at the level that they need to be doing, frankly, in the future, actually in the present, if we don't know how to use technology in wise and effective way, we also don't have much opportunity for careers and futures. Because today, to do just about anything, you actually need to know how to use technology. And frankly, a lot of the better paying careers, highly specialized careers, to be competitive in a global market requires a sophisticated knowledge of technology. So two things. One is, it's not just about the technology, but yes, it is also about the technology. And second, that the technology is the enabler for us to scale up and making sure we deliver high quality education for all the students so they're prepared for the 21st century.